are you talking about? The plate is like this big. Hello and good afternoon, our little softball sweeties. We're back.
I knew you were going to go with softball sweeties.
Softball angels?
I knew it by the tone and the level that your voice came in at.
I wanted to welcome the people.
I knew it was going to be softball sweeties.
Look, some people, they're at work, they're bored, and no one's called them sweetie in an endearing manner.
Okay. I bet nobody's called them freaks in an endearing manner either. Softball freaks. That's an term of endearment.
Yeah.
It could be.
I didn't feel like, I'm going to save freaks for October.
Okay, I like what you're doing. So okay. So sweeties.
When I'm feeling a little bit more ghoulish.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, here we go.
I know. Well,
Here's
we're back.
the deal.
Look at us being consistent.
I know. What is this, 3 in a row?
I think so.
You're welcome.
I've lost count because we've been so consistent.
And in case you didn't realize, if you haven't watched this the last 3 times, you can find us on, you can download the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
What are we at now, Allie?
Yeah.
We're reaching 1,000 unique downloads.
Look at that.
That's a lot of downloads.
Approaching 1,000. So you can go back. You can go back to 2017, download the very first Here's the Deal, listen to it on your next run in the car.
It's like a different form of time traveling. You don't travel in physical space.
No.
It's a mental space.
And
Allie, you said that there's some people in the Czech Republic
downloading
the
It's actually
podcast.
pretty crazy. There are over 50 unique downloads in the Czech Republic.
To those of you in the Czech Republic, I have no idea what time it is right now in the Czech Republic, but
7.
Ches is a world
9
traveler.
hour?
She knows.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's like a 7 or 9 hour difference.
So they could be watching live. Thank you for watching
Love
all
the
the way
Czech
over in the
people.
Czech Republic.
All right. Obviously, let's get down to business here.
Let's go.
We've got some things to talk about. So last week, USSSA announced that they were leaving the NPF. Whoa.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
It wasn't a holy cow in UTRIP's mind, but to the rest of the softball world, all of us are left with the question, what's going to happen in the league?
Yeah, and I got this information from FloSoftball's email. Allie sent one out, and I opened it and I was like, you have got to be kidding me. Like, I had no idea.
You tripping.
It was, for those of you who can't hear this, it was dead silent when she made that joke just now. Kind of just.
I know some of you were laughing at that.
Yeah. Wow. I was blown away. I don't know if you were. So we're going to break this down. We have the Cleveland Comets.
Yes.
Who remain. We have the Chicago Bandits, who finished second this year. We have the Beijing Eagles, the Aussie Spirit, and the Canadian Wild.
Yes.
That's who we have right now going into 2020.
Do we? I mean, I'm not so sure about the foreign leagues, which, if they're vying for a spot for the 2020 Olympics, which next week we'll see who's going to take the final spot in the 2020 Olympics with the Asia-Oceania qualifier. But I'm not so sure those teams are going to return. I mean, I'll definitely ask the question. I haven't asked the NPF yet if those teams are going to return, but I'm kind of under the assumption that they're not returning for 2020.
And you make a really good point. Previous show, I think last week, we were talking about how the Olympics could affect some players coming back for the college season, but you make a really good point. These international teams may not be available or want to put that much wear and tear on themselves going into the 2020 season.
Well, also, they went into the season with the intention of using the NPF as a training ground. So with that kind of different motive versus like the U-Trips trying to build a professional league, right? And they didn't have the intention of qualifying for an Olympics. So without that motive anymore, it just doesn't make any sense to me as to why they would even think about staying.
So what do you see happening? We have Cleveland versus Chicago. If the international teams decide to bounce for 2020 because of the Olympics.
I don't know. Either an extremely short season, an extremely boring season. I don't know. When you lose the best team in the league, you just can't I mean, U-Trip, think about this, y'all. 11 years in the making.
Mm-hmm.
A huge reason why this team is so good. And you have an owner who continually invests in the player and invests in the league. And when you don't have that anymore, it's not going to just pop up from out of thin air.
Yep. The USSSA Pride have been active for exactly 10 years, the length of their contract. They were 2009 to 2019. The Bandits have been around since 2005. And if you talk about how Cleveland used to be the Akron Racers, they have been around since 2004.
Yeah. I don't even know if I would put those two together just because they have two different GMs, two different stadiums, and a lot of the players went elsewhere. I don't know. I think USSSA is going to figure out what to do next. I think, well, we already saw that they're going to play Florida and Florida State in November. They could potentially play the USA team once they go on tour during the spring to prep for the 2020 Olympics. I wouldn't be surprised if they played other foreign teams, like Canada is
Czech
just
Republic?
Yeah. Well, they didn't make it. They lost.
I know. I was throwing a bone to our Czech Republic.
Well,
which Nestor?
Don't rub it in.
Which Nestor? It wasn't rubbing. They're
rubbing it in.
We're right here. Czech Republic and me. Nestor also pointed out that it's 9:33, or probably 9:36 now in the Czech Republic. So hopefully they're
okay.
watching.
Thank you.
Thank
you for the time update.
Not a problem.
It's like it's 9:36 in Czech Republic. Where are your kids?
Yeah. Where are your kids? Hopefully they're watching Here's the Deal. But yeah, those are all options for the U-Trip, as well as playing the scrapyard, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't see anything. I don't see why they wouldn't play each other. It's not like they're forming a league. They can't do that. They already signed a non-compete contract in the contract.
Yeah, that was my first question to you. Was could Scrapyard and USSSA go make a pro league themselves? And
no,
it's not possible.
Yeah, they already signed the contract. But they could play Canada, and some of the other teams that have qualified, they could play Mexico. So there's a lot of different options in 2020, but beyond 2020 is like kind of, I guess 2020 is still a question mark, but beyond that, it continues to be something that I don't know if it's going to get better.
Yeah, 2020 is just going to be an interesting year for the softball landscape, right? Because we're talking about these international leagues maybe not playing in the NPF, and then you're talking about some of the best collegiate players maybe not playing with their college teams to play with Team USA. So it's just going to be an interesting landscape. And I'm not sure that anybody knows exactly what to expect with either one of those. We can kind of speculate, but I don't think that we know.
Yeah.
Yet.
Well, Cleveland is coming back. I'm not so sure half the team will be there.
Right.
Because it doesn't if you're prepping for the 2020 Olympics, you're not going to be running yourself into the ground playing every single day. I don't think that's all that smart. But, I'm not the leader of those organizations.
Ches has the brains, folks. Ches has the brains.
And Jason,
I'm the beauty of the show. Ches is the brains.
Yeah. Jason is requesting more dogs.
Yes, Jason, one of our coworkers, he works on Flow Marching. If you love the marching arts, you should go check it out. Bands of America season is starting, but I think he was particularly taken with the day that we had Wera on the show.
Yeah,
she's a star.
She was a
Let's
star.
admit it.
She is.
She is the star.
She needs a bath.
Oh, okay. She's a little slinky. She's a stinky star. A little stinky. That's why she's not here today. But
she likes to roll in the dirt.
Sometimes she just doesn't come out of her dressing room. Like, she's super high maintenance. Like, can't. She's like, she wanted a certain type of kibble. She's like, forget it. I'm not coming.
Yeah.
So alas you're stuck with just us.
Yeah.
All right. So that's.
I don't know. Bottom line, the NPF will need more teams if the foreign teams do not choose to return for the 2020 season. if they don't, then it's I don't know.
Do you think there's any chance in any of these? I'm looking at the timeline of the NPF. Any teams that have exited would come back? Pennsylvania Rebellion, the Texas Charge, or do you think they're done? It'd have to be brand new
Texas
teams.
Charge was kind of a package deal with Scrapyard.
Yeah.
So you think it would need to be brand new team, a couple brand new teams.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Donnie does have a good question here. He asked, how long is the non-compete contract for?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll ask you, Trip. I mean, I'm going to be talking with them this week, so I'll give you guys the juice next week.
That's so you tune in next week, Donnie. All right. Shall we?
Yeah, let's move on. Since we were talking a little bit about the pro team, and then we talked a little bit about the 2020 Olympics, we have the tryouts coming up in just 2 weeks. Can you believe it?
No, I cannot believe it.
And they have to narrow the roster down to 18.
18. Do we know how many there
So
currently are?
who do you guys think is going to make it? Obviously, we know of some for sure picks for the 2020 team, but there's still some questions around who's going to take the 16th, 17th, 18th spot.
Yep.
But let's go down the list.
It looks like there are 30 invitees.
Yes.
So we got to get from 30 to 18.
Okay.
Quick math, we got to cut 12.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm not just beauty.
Okay.
I have some brains.
Okay, you want to go down the list?
Okay, let's go. This first one,
No brainer.
it's a real tough call. We don't know. We're not
We
sure.
should let them guess.
Yeah.
Okay, she's really tall.
She played for Tennessee.
She throws really hard.
She had a contract for $1 million. We did a film on her.
Her last name rhymes with Babbitt.
So
Did anyone get it right?
no, nobody's talking. We just lost half the audience.
Oh,
No.
boy.
Monica Abbott. Hey, Delinda Rice Baker. She's
Yeah.
Monica.
Yeah.
You win one of those.
Yeah.
So I
In.
can't imagine that Abbott wouldn't be on the team
Yeah.
unless something catastrophic happens. Right?
She's in.
She's a big timer.
Next one.
Next one. Are we gonna do this guess who for everyone?
Yeah, I'm going to just tell you in or out.
Ali Aguilar.
In.
Okay. So that's 2 in. Let's see if Ches can keep her math right. Valerie Ariota.
In.
Sis Bates.
Out. Even though I love you, sis. I think you're great, but just not this time around.
Ali Carta.
I think she's one of the ones on the bubble, but
I only
think
have 2
in.
hands, so
In.
She's gonna go in. Okay. Amanda Chittister.
In.
Taylor Edwards.
Out.
Ali, how do you feel about Taylor Edwards being out?
I mean, she's my best friend, so.
Is she though? Is she really your best friend?
I don't know. Taylor's a tough one for me. I think
Okay,
she's she's a bubble one for me.
Ali,
She is a bubble one.
I need you to keep
She's
track
a
of the
bubble
bubbles.
one. Okay.
So Ali
She
Carta.
did 2 bubbles, right?
2 bubbles.
Okay.
Ali Carta. So I'm gonna go back down to
Yeah.
1 and Monica, Valerie, Ali, Valerie, Amanda. So that we have 4 ins.
Okay.
That's what we got right now. You have 2.
Taylor's a real bubble one
Okay,
for me.
yeah.
Megan Faramo.
Out. Great pitcher.
Hannah Flippin.
In.
Montana Fouts.
I think she's another great one, but I don't think she makes it this time.
Baby Goat.
In.
Chelsea Goodacre.
I don't even think she's going to the tryout, even though she's listed. I don't think she's going. She had some she broke her finger or something.
You kind of need that
Yeah.
if you're going to be a pitcher or a catcher. I'm sorry. I was looking at Carly Hoover. You also need your fingers to catch.
Yeah.
Carly Hoover.
Out.
Jasmine Jackson.
Bubble, but I don't think she's gonna make it.
Okay. Allie's got your bubbles.
All right. 3 bubbles.
Savannah Jaquish.
That's like another bubble one, but I think she's out.
All right.
Okay. Bubbles.
Bubbles.
Amanda Lorenz.
I think she's a bubble one, but I think she's in.
Okay, so is that bubble or in?
No, if she says bubble, it's bubble.
Okay,
you
so
can't just
5
say
bubbles.
everybody's a bubble.
There's 30 players, and you got to narrow it down to
Okay.
18.
Okay.
to
Right now you
18.
have 6 in and 5 out.
And then 5 bubbles.
Haley McClenny,
In.
Christy Merritt,
I think she's in.
Michelle Moultrie,
In.
Deja Molapola,
In.
Aubrey Monroe,
In.
10, 11. Bubba Nichols,
Love her, but she's out.
that's 6 out. Kat Osterman.
In. Redemption.
So we're at 12 in and 6 out. Alyssa Palomino, I can't see your last name here.
Cardoza. Out.
Shelby Penley.
Out.
Ooh. Janae Reed.
This is who I think is going to
Yep,
make it.
yep.
It's not who, like,
Yep.
that's not my team.
Yep.
I hope
Yeah.
we get this right.
We'll do our team later and I'll win.
Janie is in.
Kaylani Ricketts.
In.
Sydney Romero.
Out.
Delaney Spalding.
In.
Kelsey Stewart.
In.
So that you have 16 in. How many bubbles?
5 bubbles.
Yeah. See, it's tough. Like, I'm just going to be real with you guys. I think Kelsey Stewart's going to make the team, but I think Sid Romero's better. I think she's a better choice overall. Like, but just the history that we've seen with the whole tryouts
Yes.
and all that. I just think at this point, USA isn't going to rock the boat with team chemistry. But I would take Sid Romero over Kelsey Stewart any day.
There are a couple questions about the Romeros. There are 2 that I see. One is Romeros are going to play for Mexico, right?
No.
So that is not happening.
Sorry, guys.
That's not happening.
I know we did that whole video series, and I was just as shocked as you were when I saw that Sid's name was on the list, but they had a change of heart.
So that's a no. Just
Yeah.
clarifying on that one. So,
Sorry, guys.
yeah, so you felt pretty confident about 16 of them. You had some bubble, like you said, at the beginning.
Yeah, those last ones are really tough. I think Hannah Flippin has definitely proved herself. She's just an amazing athlete, a great teammate. I mean, have you ever met a person that didn't like Hannah Flippin? No. She's the ultimate team player. She's like she dances across the field. She's just so awesome. I feel like Allie Carta is a good pickup because she's like a jack of all trades, right? She's been pitching well. She could play first base. She could hit for herself if need be.
I think she's the only one listed as a utility player.
Yeah.
There are some infield outfielders, but she's the only one listed as utility.
Yeah, and I think USA is going to bring the staff. They're going to leave like no doubt going into Tokyo that this is the team that's going to take home the gold. So that's where I'm at. Taylor Edwards, she's like right on the bubble. Like part of why I think she's on the bubble is she knows Kat and Monica better than Monroe and Mulipola. That's
a
is
really
the
good
one
point.
defining factor between her and those other catchers.
You want to talk about how important a battery is? That's a really good point.
Yeah, I just think you have trust, you have experience. Taylor has also played in the Japanese league. Like, now I don't know how well she gets along with the coaching staff, but I mean, that's probably something that they're talking about in terms of like who is going to be catching for USA.
I think it's important for you to hear this.
Yes.
Myron J thinks that you are going to make it.
Oh, wow. Thank you. I have not been training.
But that's how good you are. You don't even need
Yeah.
to
I
finish
know, we're here for that comeback.
Yeah, thanks, guys. You know, I asked Texas if there was going to be an alumni game this fall.
Is there?
It's going to be every other year. They were
Oh.
scared. Yeah, I'm calling you out.
Get out of here.
Calling you out.
Okay. Well, do you want to throw up your horns before we move on?
No.
No, okay.
No. We'll move on.
So we're definitely going to do our own rosters. Just to remind you, last time we did that for Team USA, my roster got the most votes. Nobody's keeping score, but mine won.
Is there any, before we move on, is there anyone that you think should be in that I mentioned? Like, this is just your personal opinion. I went off of who I think is going to get picked.
Right.
Versus, like, what I actually think.
Out of your list, no, but, like, I audibly said wow to Shelby Penley not making it. To me, she's just one of the best in the game.
Yeah.
And it would be absurd.
And, like, personally for me,
on
like, Sis Bates, I'm like, I love her as, like, she's a great player to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. She brings, I mean, Sis brings more than just the athletic ability.
Yep.
She brings the energy, the enthusiasm, the passion for the game. So many intangibles. But I just, it's tough. I think Delaney's locked up that position. I don't know. Third base is still questionable for me. I think that's a weak spot for them defensively and behind the plate.
Yeah.
I think everywhere else. But when you add a flip in, then it's just like...
Right.
That's tough.
Now she could now Flippin can play anywhere. She can play third, she can play short, she can play second. What do you need her to do? Like, and you know she's going to hit for you.
Yeah. The only thing that's clear to me is the pitching staff. Like, it's Abbott, Osterman, Garcia. I mean, those aren't Ricketts. Those are no-brainers.
Yeah.
There's no way. But the rest of it's...
I'm with you.
The rest of it's pretty messy.
On Penley. Hell, if you needed her to pitch again, I'm sure she could do that because she's just kind of a freak like that.
Yeah.
But we'll see. You know, all of them are grinding right now. 2 weeks away for that tryout. So stay tuned because we will definitely post that final list.
There's a lot of love for Sis in the comments. There's a lot of love for both of the Romeros. Somebody said Sierra. So,
yeah,
we'll
I
see.
mean, a lot of different opinions, but also it's like you guys got to think about it. Like, this coaching staff has been working with these players, so they're trying to find the best chemistry between the players. And sometimes maybe it's not the most talented athlete because she doesn't mesh well with the team. We don't know those factors. I'm just like looking at what happens year after year with who gets invited and who gets selected, and there are some recurring themes throughout, you know, those picks. So I'm just kind of going in that direction. But enough of that. Shall we move on?
We shall.
Great discussion.
We shall and we will.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Allie, we've been kind of discussing some chatter on Twitter, and I think it's a great topic that kind of goes beyond just softball. But what division you play, does it matter?
Yeah. So if y'all know Sam Fisher, she is really funny.
They know Sam Fisher.
She's really funny, great influencer, great advocate for the sport. She had this long thread on Twitter that was really interesting to read and really nice to hear this out from a player. But part of this thread I'm going to read out. So if you want to go read the whole thing, just head over to her Twitter. And it's a long thread, but I promise you it's worth the read. So she said, "What constitutes the best school? In the softball world, the answer most likely is going to the World Series or playing on a huge platform. Why are these the defining factors for the best school? Why can't it be the best school for each person? Not everyone's goal is to go to the World Series. Some players are better than other players and decide to choose those schools. But does that mean only the best players end up at big-time Women's College World Series bound schools? Obviously, there's a connection between these athletes that reach the highest level of athleticism and a desire to win. There's no doubt about that. But there's more that goes into deciding on a college than just playing in the postseason."
Wow. And I think what's so cool is all three of us in the studio have three very different softball experiences. I played Division I and went to a big school, did the whole World Series. You played D2.
I didn't even play college softball.
And Allie didn't even play college softball. And I think, especially with media, I'm starting to get a little worried that players or parents or coaches are just identifying too closely with like what division that they're a part of as it's like part of their identity versus kind of what Sam is bringing up a bigger question. Is it the right school for you personally versus like the glitz and glamour of this, big Power 5 school? It's like I'm worried that we're beginning to equate that Power 5 school with like happiness and stardom, and I'm going to have all these things if I reach that thing, when that's just simply not true.
Yeah. I think I 100% agree with what Fisher's saying. I don't think there is a best school. And if parents or kids are getting trapped into that thinking, I think it's really dangerous. I think you need to stop that because it is like about what's best for you. Whether we're talking about division, but I think Sam also, that thread was fairly long, and I think she also talks about her decision to stay closer to home. Is that right?
Right. And
she makes the point that her dad got to see X amount of games every year, and like different things are important to different people. Mm-hmm. Some people, it's a straight money decision. They can get a scholarship at D2 and they would not get a scholarship for D1. Mm-hmm. Or it could be a decision to stay close to home. And like Sam Fisher mentioned, or some people are just super driven and they want to play at the best school possible and they want the chance to go to the World Series. That's fine too, right? And obviously there's the education portion. I can't believe that I got to that fourth.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about college.
That's what it's really about.
But there's also the education piece, right? And I'm sure there are other pieces that families are making a decision. It should be a family decision. But I 100% agree with what Sam's saying. And it kind of is disheartening to think that these kids or these families are making decisions not using that kind of framework.
Mm-hmm. Allie, so you didn't even go on to play college softball. Can you kind of go into why you made that decision?
So I was going into my freshman year of high school, and honestly, I was already burnt out. I was done. I was tired of traveling. I was just too tired. My body was starting to hurt, everything. So I decided to go more towards the education route, where I was like, I want to go to a big university. I want to get a great education. And, I know eventually I somehow want to give back to the sport. And so I ended up going to A&M. Within my sophomore year, I was majoring in computer science, but I noticed that I didn't fall in love with it. I didn't have a passion for it, but somehow ended up working for the video department there at A&M called 12-Minute Productions. And from there, I fell in love with video, and I fell in love with, working with the softball team and, creating content for them. Within, these big schools, there's a lot of favoritism, right? Between who gets more content, who gets more resources. So for me, it was, having that battle and fighting for the sport that I cared about so much. And from there, I was able to work with a few pro teams. And then from there, I met Ches and, ended up working at FloSoftball. So, if you were to ask me, my freshman year of high school, like where I would be, I didn't think I'd be here, but I'm so glad I am. So, there's different ways to give back to the sport in so many different ways. So, yeah.
Yeah, everyone's different. And for me, I wanted to win a championship. So I went to the school with the best pitcher. That's no secret.
Yeah, and I think every decision is the best one if
for
you
that
understand
person.
What I'm saying. Yeah. Like the reasons somebody is making a decision are valid, and they should not be, thrown out just because it's different than what you would do. Mm-hmm. So I think props to Fisher for putting some of her life out there and putting a positive discussion out on Twitter, because let's face it, there's a lot of shit on Twitter.
Yeah.
And this is a productive conversation.
We're not always going to make the best decision.
No, that's why people transfer, and that's why I'm okay with transferring.
Yeah. And the important thing is we learn from all of those situations, and that we evolve and grow. So even if you didn't make the right decision the first time around, it's not like the end all be all.
Yeah.
So I just, take your time. I think that's one of the things that's so great about the rule change for recruiting is like the parents and players can now take their time, really get to know the coaching staff, read up on the universities, learn more about yourselves as people. What is it that you truly want out of this experience? Because you only get it once.
Yep.
Yeah.
Unless-
D2, D1, quitter.
College.
I'm just kidding. Like, it's
Talking about salt.
If you went on to pursue college softball,
I wouldn't have been.
I mean, you wouldn't be like have the video skills
No.
and made the connections that you were able to make.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of things that kind of unfold from the decisions that we make. Well,
What's next?
what's
coming up?
next? We've got more rankings coming out.
Rankings on rankings
So
on
we'll
rankings.
have the 16U end of year rankings coming out today, 14U tomorrow, 12U on Friday. And then next week we will start the final Olympic qualifier. Can you believe it?
That's crazy. I think it's the 24th, right, Allie?
Yes.
Yep.
I will be flying to Shanghai, China. Just kidding.
I was like, wait, what?
No, I was like, wait,
we
are
had
you
a
really?
streak going with here's the deal. Now you're gonna break it?
Yeah.
No, it's the 24th. It starts the 24th. We have U.S. rights to stream it, correct?
Yes.
So
And just know that there's a time difference. So it'll be streaming late on September 23rd.
see, now you brought up time differences.
Yeah.
I did it at the beginning of the show, and you gave me shit.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
All right.
Hey, we love you guys. We will see you next week on Here's the Deal.